welcome. By the way, did everyone catch the Wi-Fi there? Because I know that is the most important thing to most of you before coffee. Everyone got that? Do we need to flip back to that slide for the Wi-Fi password? It was Creative Cloud, capital C's. Okay. My name is Mark Greenaway. I'm here to welcome you all and host the day for you here. We're delighted you're here. We feel very fortunate to have you all here. You're all luminaries to us, and we're going to reward you, hopefully, with some presentations from some other luminaries in the creative space, especially on a rainy day in London. I hope you all have dry feet at this point in time. I'm responsible for the digital media business in the region, and my role, my team's role, is to help our customers exploit the digital world and realize real returns from design and taking advantage of digital opportunities. But what does that mean? Multiple devices are part of our everyday world. I think that on average, consumers are using up to 2.3 devices each at any one time. I can see a few of you here. PCs remain very important. There are more ways than ever before for brands to engage their customers. And engagement with your messages on these devices is a really big issue. It's a real concern. How do you know that your content is having any effect? So what we found from our own research, talking to customers, brands that we deal with, clients that we work with, is that the experience that you create is the key thing in making sure that your customers engage with these messages. Whether you're a creative professional, whether you're here with a role in technology supporting your marketeers and your creatives, or you're a digital marketeer yourself, you'll agree that engagement and experience is a really critical part of your role. So today, we're going to take you on a bit of a journey through why there is a design advantage to be had and what we can do to help you exploit that advantage, and why it's so important to your customers. What it means for organizations, what it means for mobile, for example, as well, which I'm going to talk about a little bit more later. And we're bringing some key brands here to talk to you, as well as a couple of Adobe's own key people. So it's a pretty big lineup. I'm going to talk about Ashley still in a moment, who's responsible for our Creative Cloud Enterprise business in Adobe worldwide. And we have some amazing luminary speakers following, for example, David Butler from Coca-Cola. We have the head of design for Transport for London, John Hunter. And we have Toby Coffey, who's the head of design for the National Theatre, who's a really leading customer of ours. And if that wasn't enough, we'll have George Yanu from Wipro. We have Cheney from IBM iX. We have Mark Keller from one of our biggest customers, part of WPP Hogarth. And we have Scott Castle, who is going to close off the day, who is the product director for Creative Cloud for Enterprise and been leading the huge developments we've been making in this space. We're going to be tweeting live all day long. We would love it if you shared your experiences, made any comments, asked any questions that you wish to. The Adobe UK handle is going to be the one we're using. Feel free to include that. Adobe, not Adobe UK? Yeah, I've got that, but we're going to be tweeting from the Adobe UK handle. I'm not a complete Twitter idiot. I try. But, we are going to be using Design Advantage, hashtag, which is Design Advantage. You're absolutely right. Use the Adobe UK handle if you wish to ask any questions. Please share your stories, share content, share pictures. We'd love to have that. Right. Okay. So let's move on. We're going to have a couple of breaks through the day, and the first one will be at 10:45. So you'll be able to catch up with your phone, email, and so on. And then we're going to have a break for lunch at about midday. And then finally, we're going to close up. We're on Vinopolis after all, so we're going to close up at 3 p.m. Please stay with us for a little while. Plan to stay with us if you can for a little while after that. Okay. And by the way, this could be one of the last big events that this venue is hosting because it's being turned into shops. So please stay on and make the most of it. So I think most of you probably have more than a passing familiarity with Adobe, but I just want to upfront say what it is that makes us tick. And we're about changing the world through digital experiences. And the chances are that whatever media you've looked at today, every day of the week, in whatever format, whatever channel, is probably produced at least with the help of Adobe tools. And we want to continue changing the world through experiences, mainly in the digital world. Things are changing very fast. This is one of my favorite examples of how fast things are changing. It took tens of years, decades, for some of the technologies we rely on the most to gain acceptance, to gain the benchmark of about 90% acceptance. And 20th century technologies have taken hold a little bit faster, culminating with the internet, which has been adopted incredibly quickly through that time. But it's nothing compared to the advancement of smartphones, and also, who knows where that tablet line is going, but whatever it's going to do, it's going to be pretty significant. The future is not just digital, the future is actually mobile as well, because it's the very tool which is going to let so many more people get access to the internet. So we're all very focused on the internet as a group of people, but we need to be looking to the future as well, and the future is mobile. In fact, no one would be surprised that over the past 5 years, UK adults have increased their time online very significantly, from 2.5 hours or so to over 4.5 hours per day. But almost all of that growth has been on mobile devices. If you look at the mobile non-voice line, it's gone from 30 minutes a day 5 years ago to 2.5 hours per day. And most of that's on the smartphone, but the tablet is a pretty important device as well. Now, TV, on the other hand, is reducing, slowly, but reducing. Print is reducing even faster. I don't think anyone would be surprised by that. But look at the difference: 19 minutes a day consuming print-based media, compared to 4.5 hours per day online. A lot of that on mobile. And I love to. Got some of our US colleagues in the room. I always love to tease a little bit with the comparison with the US statistic. It's not exactly the same study by eMarketers, but it's pretty comparable. Interestingly, the US, which has been a late adopter of mobile, is stepping ahead. The average US adult is spending to nearly 3 hours per day on mobile devices. So they're getting ahead of us. But the thing that surprises me the most is how much more time they still watch TV for. And who'd have thought? 4.5 hours per day watching TV compared to 3 hours in the UK. The other interesting thing to take from this is the newspapers and magazines line, which is an even sharper reduction in time spent consuming print-based media than in the UK. So, hey, there's a pretty clear indicator of the future. So what all of that does is it creates consumers who are ever more connected, and they're ever more active online, and they're creating ever more data and consuming ever more data, which is there for us to exploit if we're able to. And it leaves us all in organizations open to disruption by the very smart startup, the Ubers and so on. It's an overused example, but those startups do two things. They both disrupt existing businesses, and there's some pretty interesting forecasts about how many of the top 20 organizations or industries in the world will be disrupted by organizations like that over the next few years. But they also set the standard for the rest of us in establishing customer experience, because they do it best, because they do it more and more online. And that's what we're here to try and help you with. So we're here to try and help bring together, help you create the best content, help you exploit all this data, and help you to deliver it. So Adobe's aim is to help you make content, help you manage content, and measure that content ultimately with the ability to monetize that content. And that's what Adobe's 3 clouds are for. Creative Cloud, Marketing Cloud, and Document Cloud, our latest cloud. Creative Cloud, and I'm sure most of you are familiar with it. We're going to talk a lot today about where we're taking that and what we're going to do with it. Creative Cloud is there to drive ever faster content creation. And we know, because you keep on telling us consistently, that your creatives and you as creatives are being asked to create more and more content faster and faster. And you're your own worst enemies, you tell us, because you seek to keep up with this constantly. The reason for that is because your organizations and you as marketeers are driving ever faster marketing automation, ever faster marketing campaigns. You can only run your marketing as fast as you can create content for it, okay? You can run your marketing as fast as you can create content. You can hit as many segments as you can create content for. You can hit as many segments as you can personalize your content for. And that's what the Creative Cloud is for. And finally, having created this amazing engine of creativity, of marketing, and created all that demand, in our view, you need something to fulfill that digitally. And paper-based processes, which we know 98% of all organizations still fundamentally depend on, are not an efficient way of doing that. And that's our next area for innovation, is to help you tackle e-signatures and help you do things more digitally. Okay, so I think that's enough for me. So let's move on to the first of our speakers today, Ashley Still. Ashley is the Vice President for Creative Cloud for Enterprise in Adobe. She leads product development, product marketing, and all business developments worldwide for our flagship enterprise offering, Creative Cloud. She's very strong background in content publishing. She headed up products and marketing for something called Primetime, Adobe Primetime previously. Primetime is an internet TV platform. It's used very heavily by Comcast. But most people don't know this, still don't know this. It actually was the platform that delivered the London Olympics to all devices, streamed and provided catch-up coverage of the London Olympics online. And I think it's even won an Emmy. Is that right? That's correct. Two Emmys for digital streaming capability. Yep. So Ashley's here to talk about design philosophy and how it can be used to create a competitive advantage. Ashley.